And in that second verse, but his delight is in the law of the Lord. I want you to hear it this way. But his delight is in the lifestyle of the Lord. And in his lifestyle, and Jesus' lifestyle, he meditates day and night. And when he does that, when we do that, we'll be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that brings forth fruit in its season, whose leaf also shall not wither, and whatever he does shall prosper. This includes everything: your family, your children, your marriage, your job, your health. However, no promise of God is without responsible action to be taken on our part. God promises us these things, but there are steps that we need to take in obedience to the promise that he gives us. We are to follow the lifestyle of Jesus. Many people want the promised results without responsible commitment. Growing up here in Harrisburg, growing up in my household, life was fun. Me and my brothers, I enjoyed most of my childhood. I enjoyed. Up until I recognized that my parents were arguing. Although I recognized it, I didn't know how serious it was at the time. I would hear conversations of mom talking to her best friend, and I found out that my dad was having an affair. I began to pray. I had been saved. I had received the Lord when I was 12 years old. Initially because I didn't want to go to hell. And my mom was saved, and my mom's best friend was saved, and my cousins. So it was, initially, like I said, it was because I didn't want to go to hell. I recognized now that God came into my life for that season so that I wouldn't swing out. He wanted to get a hold of me then. But I took it really hard because I was close to my dad. Dad was the one who played with us. I always saw mom as she took care of the house, she cooked and cleaned when she was more serious. But my dad was the one who joked with us, he played with us, he would take us places. But I recognized the faithfulness of God, that he had came into my life a year before my dad left. My mom took it really hard. She gave him an ultimatum. He chose to leave. Again, I saw the faithfulness of God because he came into our lives before it happened. He brought us into a church that brought us into the foundation of things. They taught us about salvation. But mom began prayer in our home. We would go between the houses, between mom and Miss Trudy, that was mom's best friend. We would have prayer, and in one of those prayer times I was filled with the Holy Spirit. I remember when I was filled with the Holy Spirit that it felt like a war had stopped in me. I felt peace like I had never experienced before. And from that point, even my view about the Lord changed. It wasn't just about not going to hell. It was about, okay, he's given me peace now. What do I do with this? Even beyond what the church was giving me, I wanted more. I would read my Bible, and even though I didn't always understand what I was reading, there was a hunger. I would pray. I would get alone in my room and just pray and just talk to God. It wasn't about, I don't know, I guess saying the right things. I would, in my bedroom, there was a balcony, and I would just sit in the doorway and just talk to God. It's about a lifestyle. And even though I didn't know it then, he was drawing me into thinking of him more than just what I had to do. It was a relationship. And it was what I want. It was what I needed, because Dad wasn't there anymore. It got so until it alienated me and my friends, my regular friends, my high school friends, because there were things that I just was not going to do. I partied, but I wasn't going to. But I wasn't going to sleep around. I knew that if I slept with anybody, I would be pregnant immediately. I knew it without a shadow of a doubt, and that was probably one of the only things that stopped me. I've tried a little bit of everything. I smoked. I tried drinking. Didn't really like it, either one of them. I wondered what the big deal was about it. But again, God kept pulling on me. He kept drawing me. And there was just this hunger in me for him.